and urgent need for the federal government to take stringent measures to stop the infiltration of a group of violent terrorists known as Lakurawa from entrenching themselves in some northwestern parts of Sokoto and Kebbi states. Senate is aware that a group of terrorists from neighboring Burkina Faso and Mali, known as Lakurawa, has infiltrated the country through the Nigeria-Niger border at Ilela, Tangaza, Silami local government areas of Sokoto state, and are there. From there, attacking communities in Augi and Ariwa local governments in Kebbi state. Senate recalls that this violent gang of terrorists had raided and dispossessed these communities prior to the large-scale invasion of Mera, a village in Augi local government, on November 8, 2024, killing more than 20 people and fleeing with their livestock amounting to hundreds of millions of naira. Senate is aware that Kebbi State government promptly responded by sending a delegation with relief materials to the affected villages and assistance to families of the deceased. The Senate is also aware that my humble self, distinguished Senator Muhammad Adamu Aleru of Kebbi Central Senatorial District, distinguished Senator Garu Musa Medoki of Kebbi South Senatorial District, along with some members of the House of Representatives from Kebbi State, have been to those areas to commiserate with the victims of the attack on behalf of the National Assembly. Senate is aware that if timely, adequate, and decisive measures are not taken, this group can spread its foreign reign of terror to other parts of northern parts of the country and beyond. Senate notes that the prompt response of the Ministry of Defense and the Armed Forces, who dispatched a well-armed military response squad that was able to dislodge the terrorists and secured the release of herds of cattle and other livestock that were stolen by the terrorists. Accordingly, Senate resolves to, 1, urge the Nigerian military to maintain their presence and vigilance in the affected communities to hold the activities of Lakurawa from spreading further across the region. 2, further direct the military to work with the communities and other security agencies to set up early warning mechanisms to forestall further incursions. 3, further urge the federal government to send an assessment team to the affected areas to estimate the extent of damages and to determine the immediate relief materials needed by the affected communities and families. And 4, observe 1 minute silence in favor of over 20 people who were killed in the community in the wake of the terrorist incursions.
Banditry started in Zamfara State, and about 9 years ago, nobody thought that it would spread to neighboring states. But we didn't take immediate measures to arrest the situation. And gradually, it spread to neighboring states of Sokoto, Zamfara, Katsina, Kaduna, and even beyond, even Niger State. So this Lakurawa movement is a terrorist movement. They came from Mali. They control the whole of northern Mali. And they made that part of the country ungovernable. Recently, the government of Mali, with the assistance of a foreign country, was able to dislodge quite a number of them. And they started spreading to other parts of West Africa, including Nigeria. Even though as far back as 4 years ago, some of them moved to Sokoto, and I think during the reign of Governor Aminu Tambuwal, now senator, he contacted the then president, and armed military men were sent, and quite a number of them were killed. So, Mr. President, the time to act is now if we want to control the spread of this terrorist. Mr. President, we have been discussing about security in this Senate. I want us to recall what happened in the 8th Senate and the 9th Senate. We had discussed extensively on how we can tame the tide of banditry and terrorism. We made recommendations, 5 recommendations, and we asked the executive arm of government to implement those resolutions. Mr. President, it is still relevant for us to insist that those resolutions should be implemented.
When I was on the saddle as governor of Sokoto State, to the glory of God Almighty, we had an encouraging of this group, possibly, and I think I may be correct, for the first time in Sokoto State in 2018. And we had to mobilize in collaboration with the federal government to dislodge them and disperse most of them. It was a very, very well carried out operation by the security personnel. I was therefore surprised, Mr. President, when I read in the press some security officers or officials saying that this was the first time that we had such an incursion of this terrorist group in Nigeria. That is not correct. And Mr. President, I support all the prayers of this motion. We need to nip this in the bud. It's too serious for us to allow to take it lightly, because these people are well armed with sophisticated weapons, and I believe they even have some international connections. Therefore, there is a need for the government of Nigeria to take this matter very, very seriously. Otherwise, it may snowball, as did the banditry from Zamfara into virtually every part of northwestern Nigeria and several parts of north central.
This is the way it starts. And if it is not nipped in the bud, it will spread terror across many parts of this country. So I also want to use this opportunity, because from the body of your motion, you pointed out that the Nigerian military moved swiftly and they were able to dislodge them from the communities that they killed people and occupied. And so while we commend the military, we want the military to continue to maintain their presence in those regions in order to forestall a further incursion into the country of this terrorist group. So, and I thank all my colleagues for their contributions. The security of lives of Nigerians is important to all of us, and security belongs to all. So thank you for bringing this, and I hope these motions that we have made today and all the resolutions so far will help to forestall the new group from gaining prominence in the country, like all previous groups had done. Thank you so much. Can we now rise for 1 minute silence in honor of those so far killed?